fucking with me? Why are you fucking with me? Why are you fucking with me? Huh? Get the fuck back to work!
The potential final season of The Bear is one of the most interesting things I've seen put to television in quite a long time. Specifically, because of how it completely shifts in terms of pacing and direction from the earlier seasons. You see, what made The Bear so popular to begin with was how unbelievably fast-paced, chaotic, and well-edited it was, with tons of fast cuts, music placed in often to build tension, and some freakishly long one-takes. And just generally speaking, The Bear had this unbelievable speed about it in terms of how fast the story would progress from one thing to another. Every episode felt like it was half the time that it actually was, due to the fact that, for the most part, it was constant, non-stop action and energy from start to finish. But it wasn't like this all the time. Even in Season 1 and 2, there was a ton of time dedicated to self-reflection, dream sequences, how grief affects different people, and small conversations between the characters. But with all that being said, I've seen a lot of people online that are somewhat disappointed by Season 4 due to the fact that it is a much slower burn that doesn't even show any actual services. And while I can definitely understand someone having less enjoyment for something that is much slower, it is undeniable that The Bear was always destined to slow down, and the fact that they actually did it shows an unbelievable amount of commitment to the story that they were telling. You see, Carmen's story always matches the pacing of the episodes and the story at large. When Carmen is highly stressed, the scenes are explosive and highly stressful, with tons of quick edits, cuts, and tense music. Versus when Carmen is having a slower and more introspective moment, the show slows down and will often linger on one shot or a few for an extended amount of time. It created this unique balance throughout the first two seasons, where in one 10-minute span you will have 100 cuts, and then in the next span of 10 minutes you will have a single long take. And Season 3, and now especially Season 4, have a lot more long takes and a lot less rapid, stressful editing. And that's because the end goal for Carmen's character was always to get away from the chaotic, toxic, and insane world that he was constantly a part of throughout the first two seasons. And unfortunately, I think this next part is something that some viewers have overlooked due to the fact that it was just so enjoyable to watch. When Carmen is yelling all the time, stressing out, and freaking out, he is at his worst mentally. And when he isn't, when he's slowing down and trying to process his emotions, he is growing as a person, and in turn the scenes slow down. And Season 4 is primarily about Carmen and Co. growing as people, so it makes a lot of sense that the season overall would be far slower in terms of pace. Carmen and Co. basically spend the whole season just processing their emotions, reconnecting with loved ones, getting closure on issues that have been plaguing them for years, and growing past what have made them such frantic individuals and stressed out this whole time. I believe this is why we have Episode 7 tougher than the rest, in order to directly show the way in which the show and people in it have changed. Episode 7 is a direct prequel to Season 2 Episode 7, Fishes. Fishes, which is definitely the highest the show gets in terms of intensity, with stress building throughout the entire episode, with the alarm going off, conversations and arguments getting tenser, and eventually a car going through a house. Fishes is an all-time low for basically every character involved. Carmen, Mikey, and Natalie are all mentally destroyed in their own ways here. Richie has no idea how to be a husband or a future father. Lee is that one uncle that everyone hates, and Donna blames the entire world for problems that are very much of her own making. Contrast this to Season 4, Episode 7, and the growth that this broken family has undergone is undeniable. Carmen and Nat are finally growing past their issues and finding happiness in their own ways. Richie is a good father who's found a way to be there for his family without betraying anyone or betraying himself. Lee is now somehow the supportive uncle, and Donna is taking accountability for her actions and trying to come out the other side a better person. And most importantly, Carmen is actually open to all of this change, and he himself is trying to progress in his own way. And this character growth makes the episode far less tense, but far more wholesome. It's an episode you're never likely to forget, just like Fishes, but for an entirely opposite reason. And I think one really good scene that contrasts both themes from both episodes is the table scenes. In Fishes, there is this long extended table scene where everyone is fighting, people are throwing stuff, people are crying, Donna drives a car through the house, and then you contrast this to Season 4, Episode 7, when this entire group of unlikely friends and family members are coming together, sitting under a table to help out this little girl who is the future of the Bear legacy. And it even ends with this really wholesome photo of the entire family together. It is just really beautiful work on display. And to finish off my points now, I don't think any two episodes showcase the growth and change that the story has gone on more than the first episode of Season 1 and the final episode of Season 4. Season 1, Episode 1 is pure chaos. It's Carmen at his most stressed and lost. The episode is edited together incredibly well, with so many cuts, intense music, insanely fast pacing, and most importantly, characters that are very much separated by walls of grief, misunderstanding, and lack of communication between one another. And the final episode of Season 4 couldn't be any more different. It's just a bunch of people talking in an alley. No music, barely any cuts, just our characters finally opening up, leaving everything on the table and being honest with one another. There isn't a need for chaos anymore. There isn't a need for the frantic editing. Hell, there isn't even a need to show the surface anymore, because our characters have all mastered and grown past it. And all that's left now is to address all of the grief, sadness, love, and beauty that's been tucked underneath and growing over the past 4 seasons. With our 3 main characters being Carmen, Sydney, and Richie having this really long conversation about what they mean to one another, the mistakes that they have made in the past, the future that they are trying to create, and how they want to proceed with the bear and with one another. And personally, I loved this final episode. It was an incredibly mature episode that very much felt like a natural conclusion to this story. And listen, I'm not telling you what you have to enjoy. I totally understand why many people prefer the first 2 seasons to the last 2, but in terms of an overall story, The Bear Season 4 is the ending that this show was always building to, and personally, I absolutely adored it. Now with all that being said, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.